Okay, so let's see Jazzy Elite ES, how to replace motors on this unit. Of course, you have to strip. You don't have to strip, but you have to take the seat off, the captain's seat, and then take off the cover, the shroud that goes right in here. These are your two batteries, U1 batteries. These actually have a quick connect, which is pretty cool. Little connectors right here. They just pop out. Pretty 2-pin connection, or I don't know what they're really called, but anyways, they just connect, quick connect. You disconnect those and you could take the batteries off and make the unit a little bit easier. But anyway, to carry. So let's start with taking off the cover off right here. And I already took a couple of screws off, so makes it a little bit easier. But once you take these off, you are going to have a couple of spacers underneath, so you want to be careful with that. You're going to have 4 Phillips screws. You're going to have 2 on top and then 2 right here at the bottom. So once this comes off, you're going to notice you have a spacer. So you want to keep track of that, make sure you don't lose it, and then keep track of all your screws. So this right here is going to be your Lynx programmer or controller or module. This is the brain of the chair. So this right here is your connection, lapel cable that hooks up to your extended cable that goes to the joystick. But this is going to be your motor, battery, and then other motor. Okay. Also, these have these are actually fuses, I believe. So anyways, to replace the motor, what I usually do is I'll tip it on its side. Now if you're going to do that, make sure you have cardboard or something to protect the unit from getting scratched. So all you have to do is bring it on its side, and that might be the easiest way to do it. Make sure your casters are flat down. Now you are going to have to remove the drive wheel. So I believe that's going to be a 3/4 right here, and you could use power tools. I'm going to use my ratchet. So let's go ahead and remove that. Once you remove that, you are going to have a pin that holds the tire in place. But let's go ahead and take that off. That might be a little bit tight, but that's okay. It should come off pretty simple. Whoa. Came off too easy. Let me get my washer. That's a blooper. Heck yeah. Got my washer. Now this right here is going to be your I guess your motor key, you would say. That's what helps not what helps, dang it. That's what makes the tire roll. So if I was to take this off and you just put the tire is just going to spin. The motor's just going to spin, and it's not going to do anything. So let me show you. It's on freewheel now. If I get I don't have it. Anyways, if you put it on freewheel, this is just going to spin without this pin right here. It's just going to go crazy, and it's not going to do anything. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to remove these hex bolts, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be a 1/2 inch. So you're going to get that underneath on top, and then you're going to get your ratchet on the bottom, and you just loosen them up. I wouldn't take them all off completely. I would just loosen them up, and I'm going to take it off so you guys can see the spacers and all that good stuff. But this is pretty simple, pretty basic on how to remove the motors. Nothing too hard compared to other units. I think one of and it's not even hard, but it's tedious, like the Jazzy Air 2. Oh my gosh, you have to do so many things to it to get to the motor. But anyways, we're not working with that today. So this one I am going to remove completely. Alright, so now that I have everything loose, I'm able to remove screws. So you have your washer, you have your nylon, I guess you call it a washer, and then in between you're going to have a spacer, which I'll show you that here in a minute whenever I remove all this. And then I will have to remove the motor cable that's attached to the module. So let's take that off. So I'm not even going to remove it because I'm not going to change the motor. This is actually a new unit. So, but anyways, once you lift this up, you're going to notice a bunch of things either slide out or fall out. Here we go. So there's a couple of other washers underneath, and this is just to show purpose. That's it. It's nothing, because these motors are still good. There we go. Okay, so this is what the motor looks like underneath. There's nothing there. There's just a hole. So you are going to have your nylon washer that looks like this. You're going to have your nylon tube that looks like this, and then you're going to have a spacer right in there. So you're going to put your tube in first, just like that. You're going to put your spacer, and then underneath here you're going to put your I guess you can put your nylon washer first. So you're going to put it underneath where the hole is at, and then you can put everything else inside just like that. And then you're going to put your other nylon washer that goes on top, your spacer, your bolt, and then your nut underneath. And I hope I'm catching all this on the camera. And you do the same thing with all of them. Exactly the same thing. You go to the next one, underneath, your spacer, your tube, your nylon washer on top, your hex bolt with washer, and then your nut underneath. These motors are pretty simple. I think the hardest part sometimes is when you try to take the tire off and the tire doesn't want to come off. And I think these rims are plastic, so you could tear them up if you're not careful, if you use the gear puller. Same thing right under there. And another tip, I mean, you don't want to tighten anything up, because if you tighten these up, then you're not gonna be able to lift it up, okay, to put the nylon washer underneath. And make sure every time you do install the motors, before you take anything off, make sure that you have the correct part, because a lot of times they might send you the wrong part and you take everything off. I've done it so many times, man. You take everything off and they send you the left motor instead of the right one, if you're only replacing one. Which typically, if it's a brand new unit and one motor's out, then yeah. But if you have a unit that's even, I would even say, a year and a half, 2 years, then I would definitely replace both motors. I mean, you probably don't have to, but I mean, I would recommend it just because, you know, these chairs, your customer relies on this. A lot of times it's their only source of mobility, so you don't want the other motor to go out and then they're all stranded out in the middle of the desert. Depends where you live. But anyways, that's it. That's it. I mean, it's pretty basic, pretty simple, nothing too hard. This is right here, your breaker switch, I call it, or fuse. If the power goes out, a lot of times this will pop out so it doesn't damage your harness. You get your drive tire back on. There's a little groove right here. That's where that pin's gonna go in. And so this one's new. I mean, it's just gonna pop in there just like that. You wanna make sure that you do for sure, because if you don't, want to put this washer in there first, and that's going to hold the pin so the tire doesn't slide out. Put that back on, get your 3/4 and just tighten it up. Pretty simple, guys. And of course, if it spins, just lock it up. It's gonna stop spinning. Boom, there we go, just like that. And that's how you replace the motor on your Jazzy Elite ES by Pride Mobility. And then of course your module is going to be right here, so you're just going to take this motor off, this motor lead, and then take everything off and put the new one. But hopefully that helps, guys, and makes it easier if you're having to replace a motor and you don't want a technician to go out there, and you could do it yourself. You can order it yourself. Makes it a lot easier. All right, man, have a good day, guys.